Hello, this is Joe83. This is round 6 of the season, and we're here in Spain for the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, and it's a circuit I'm not a massive fan of, really, but nonetheless, we're here to for AOR once again in the Alfa Romeo, and yeah, on the back of, I think, just the one race win in Zandvoort. The one before that we didn't win, unfortunately. We're trying to make it 2 in a row here in Spain, and it's the first time this season we've had a mil-tire quali as well. So yeah, decided to spend the first half of the session just doing laps on the same set of softs without any fuel or ERS usage, and straight away onto the mediums here. I'm pretty early in the session really to be doing my final laps, but I wanted the chance to go out the end in case I messed it up just like that and almost spinning it through turn 2. But yes, it's better to start on mediums. It's not impossible to start on softs, but I preferred to try it because not many drivers here. I think it's 11 drivers, so the worst it can get is still fairly good, really. If I was going to qualify about 16th, then maybe not, but with only 11 drivers, I might as well go for it. So yeah, this is my best lap on the medium tyres through turn 1, trying to take a lot of curve there and not losing the back end nicely, and fully flat out through turn 3. This track is so satisfying to drive, well, some corners are anyway, especially on the steering wheel. I really enjoy it compared to how I used to on the pad, but through turn 4, a little bit wide there, had to get off the throttle a little bit, and through this next corner, very difficult to spot a braking point there, but third gear for the stable rear end, and a little bit wide, but not the best traction ever. And through this next corner, very difficult to not invalidate here. Fourth gear, trying to as much speed as possible. Slight loss of back end, really bottoming out, but not too bad. And through the high speed turn 9, this is so like pinned flat out. A very satisfying corner when you get it right. And a 100-meter board with purple in sector 2 apparently, which I don't quite believe because I'm on mediums. There's definitely some fast drivers on softs, but through the final sector now, fourth gear for this one, keeping as close to that inside curve as possible, running a little bit wide, trying not to invalidate there. It's very easy to do. And through the final sector, third gear, and for the chicane you want to go to second gear, braking just at the start of the curve, and not really on the apeces there, but on the exit, not too bad. And coming up to the line, it's 2.5 second improvement on my previous lap, which obviously was with no fuel. But it puts me third place. It's a 15.7. My PB was a 15.2 on softs, so 15.7 is not too bad at all. And at the end of the session, I did actually go out on softs, just in case people started beating me, and I wanted to just, yeah, do something really. But fully flat out through here, you can see how close it is to the track limits there. But yeah, you can see this time we are actually purple in sector 2. We're just half a tenth down on Big C, who's on pole at the minute. And can we make something happen through the final sector? It doesn't really look like it. We're down to 4th at the minute. Obviously, I don't really want to improve the lap. But this lap was fairly good. You can see I'm half a second up now. It's made a big mistake there last time, but through the chicane, I just decided to back off, call it a day, and make sure not to improve. As I'm currently 4th, a bit of a decision there whether to go into the pits or not. But yeah, by the end of the session, it did leave me in 5th place. Giant with a worldy lap put him in 2nd place on the mediums. But Big C on pole, as I said, only 11 drivers. Unfortunately, a few drivers couldn't make it, and Riley unfortunately disconnected during 3 times during qualifying, so didn't make the race either. So just the 10 drivers, which means a guaranteed points. But unfortunately, I'd much rather race against like 15, 16 people. But yeah, what can you do about it? But yeah, as we said, qualified on the medium tyres. It's a one-stop race, and coming onto the grid now for the 500 lights for the Spanish Grand Prix. They're coming on now, 5th place on the grid. It's a very long hold, but eventually, here we go, away we go. And it looks like a fairly decent launch compared to Scotty in front of me in the Williams, and Ruben alongside on the softs. It's quite surprising that I've got a good launch on the less grippy tyre, but down towards turn 1, already up to the 4th. Can we make something happen? Just try and keep the nose clean, and not really going for anything too special. But Ruben and Scotty made contact. Giant spun out right in front of me. Somehow I've avoided damage. I don't know how I got away with that one, but yeah, we've managed to get away scot-free, if you pardon the pun. And now on the back of Scott, I think he did get damage actually. So unfortunately, the safety car has come out. I suppose unfortunate because I would have liked to overtake Scotty, but also Big C had about a 4-second lead after turn 1. So it's quite a good time for the pack to train up again, but Scotty did actually pit. I don't know if he had damage or if it's just because he's on soft tyres, but either way, he fancied making use of the free pit stop, which raises me up into 2nd place. That was a fairly good start for me, actually. So yeah, up 3 positions fairly luckily. Now I can focus my attention on Big C, who is on softs and is also going very slowly on this restart, but it's his prerogative, so whatever. But through the final corner, away we go, and the understeer on the cold mediums was unreal there. The safety car was going so slowly, so the tyre temperatures were just absolutely gone, unfortunately. But yeah, still within a half second of Big C, which is good, and that's really the crucial thing, because I think for the first few laps he definitely will have the pace over me on the softs, but as the stint wears on, we should have the better pace on the medium tyres, and obviously I'm going to go a few laps longer than he will when it comes to the pit stops. And through turn 3, nothing really going on here, but you can see lap 8, we were well within DRS range, and the gaps behind were pretty mental, really. Scotty has pit for mediums, he's 5 seconds back now, and Teak didn't pit, so it's pretty much a 2-horse race already, it looks like, as it has been a lot of the races this season, to be fair. And through turn 1, the DRS was really helping me just stick to the back of him. I wasn't really taking too many risks, obviously. Don't want to hurt the tyres too badly, as it's still quite close sometimes, and the less wear the better, obviously. And through the final sector now, he was going so slowly. I think he's going to pit this lap. Although, so the aim for the strategy is you want to pit lap 9, but obviously with the safety car, you'd have thought he could go about 2 or 3 laps longer, but he didn't. So maybe that will pay dividends at the end, because he's going to pit for hards quite early, considering he had a safety car, which shortened the race length effectively as well. So yeah, 5 laps later, I just had to go for it, pretty much setting time trial laps on the medium tyres at the end of the stint. But we're going to come into the pits now. He would have got, I think, a 6-lap undercut, which is fairly substantial, but the mediums still had quite a lot of performance in them, so maybe it won't be too bad, but we'll wait and see where we come out. But pitting from the lead on the mediums, going on to hard tyres, lap 16 now, and you can see on the mini-map, the Haas car is just coming through the final chicane in the final corner now. As we pull into the box, it's 2.6 second stop, and that's fairly decent for the Alfa Romeo boys. And now on the exit of the pit lane, Big sets the fastest lap, which is half a second faster than my fastest. And down the pit straight, he's actually only just going to be ahead of me, so the undercut really wasn't that powerful. I guess the hards take a while to heat up, and maybe he got caught in traffic as well. But yeah, Bigsy is not too far clear, and this is the battle for the lead. So I'm just out of DRS range, but hopefully with the fresh tyres, it shouldn't take too long to close that gap up. And no, it didn't. At lap 18, just a few laps later, my tyres are really performing a lot better at this point, as his are almost, they're going off 10 laps old now, mine are only 2 laps old. So yeah, quite a substantial difference in tyre age. And I'm in the party with Big Z. He pretty much said he knows at this point in the race I am faster, so he's going to let me through, which is very nice of him. Not actually putting up for a fight for once, but he pretty much knows it's a lost cause. So yeah, down the inside into turn 1, Scotty actually goes fastest of anyone, so he's the one to keep an eye on. But meanwhile, I take the lead of the race back, or effectively the lead of the race once everyone pits. And through turn 3, giving him an absolute wash of dirt, yeah, hopefully, and making sure he's nowhere near me for the rest of the lap. But into the race lead, that was probably one of the easiest moves for the lead of the race he'll make on Big Z ever, because he's usually a very hard defender, but this time not so much, and going a bit wide through turn 4 there, but nothing too bad going on. And you can see he's hitting the purple after the race, the purple final sector, sorry, at 18.5 there, and the gap to Big Z is hovering just around a second. He was pretty much staying with me because of the DRS, but yeah, that's enough to keep a car with the car ahead. But I was still on to push really hard, because he's definitely still quick. And yeah, my tyres, obviously, as the stint goes on, the difference in tyre age will make less and less of a difference. And now through turn 4, trying to keep it nice and stable, 4th gear, taking a little bit too much speed on apex. And I'm actually going to run wide here into the grass. That is a really big mistake to make, a really stupid mistake as well, one that I hadn't really made throughout the whole of practice or anything, but that's allowed Bigsy back into the lead of the race, and that's sort of shaking me a bit, because I don't know where that mistake came from. I'm usually fairly good at just driving consistently, but I've also got a warning there, which is very stupid, and lost the back end, so really losing my head almost. We just got to calm down and stay focused and make sure to stay with Bigsy, because he also told me in the party that he had 6 seconds of penalties. I have 0 at this stage of the race, so as long as I can stay with him. But you can see the gap is 3 seconds now. After that mistake, I just sort of fell back. I didn't know what was going on. I really don't get what happened, but he just started pulling away from me despite his older tyres and everything. And you can see lap 29 now, and it's 2.7 seconds. And onto this next corner, still only got the 2 warnings, so you've got to keep it careful. And through the high-speed turn 9 here, not really on the apex, and we've got another warning. And that's going to make my penalty exist. So I've got 3 seconds now, and unfortunately, that means that the difference is only 3 seconds, and you see the gap is also 3 seconds. So I've really got to push this final few laps, and it's down to 2.6 now. The gap was really fluctuating quite a lot between about 2.5 and 3.5 seconds. But I've just got to keep pushing. It's the final lap of the race now. It's a pretty lonely one, but it's really important I stay with him now, as I've only got 3 tenths in hand if I want to win this race. And through this next corner, cutting again, actually getting my 4th warning of the race, but it doesn't really matter at this point, because obviously 1 lap to go, it's unlikely I'm going to get 2 more warnings. And now into the onto the DRS straight, nowhere near close enough. But the crucial thing is that gap is starting to come down, and so something happened to Bigsy. I don't really know, but I think he has a puncture. We mentioned it earlier in the race. He did pit very early for the hards, and his tyres are not doing very well on tyre wear, and that's come back to bite him right at the end of the race with half a lap to go. He has got a front left puncture, and I'm going to easily win this race now, surely. And down the inside of the final chicane, making another overtake on him. But yeah, just fighting to the line. This is absolute carnage, really. Doing a switchback and taking the P1 and onto the start-finish straight, and it's going to be another victory. This one, absolutely my luckiest win of the season by a country mile, because I really didn't deserve that, I don't think. A very scrappy drive for me. Obviously, I got a stupid penalty. I made a stupid mistake. I qualified 5th. I got lucky at turn 1. So yeah, very fortunate, but sometimes luck favours you. So yeah, what can I say? I'm very happy. Another race win, 4 out of 6 now this season, which is very good going. I think my championship leads up to about 45 points now ahead of Ruben, who's second. Daigoro couldn't make this race, so he's a little bit further back, and Bigsy obviously joined the season late, so I think he's a bit further back as well in 4th, but it's a very difficult league to win in. I know I'm making it look a bit easy at the minute, but yeah, the drivers in this league, they're so fast. Bigsy and Scotty especially usually have me on the pace, but just consistency is usually my strong point, but this race, it was pretty much luck was my strong point, because yeah, got extremely lucky with the start and everything really going in my favour, and the puncture obviously. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more. This has been AOR F2, and I will see you next time.